Baby Yoda is under attack, and we must defend him at all costs. Today I am going to be comparing Rey and Baby Yoda, one of my least favorite and one of my favorite Star Wars characters, and proving why Rey is a Mary Sue and why Baby Yoda isn't, despite some people saying otherwise. The article I will be dissecting is called The Mandalorian's Baby Yoda Further Exposes Fandom's Mary Sue Hypocrisy. And before we get into that, I just want to point out something. Even Jar Jar Abrams admitted Rey is a Mary Sue, that she is lacking flaws and that she is supposed to be overpowered. As you can see, he says that it's not an accident that Rey is so powerful. It is supposed to be that way, and it was supposed to be that way from the beginning. And these statements are only a week old, so that is very important to note here. Here is the bulk of the argument that I will be dissecting and why I will prove that Baby Yoda isn't a Mary Sue and why Rey is. So here is their argument. The claim as to why Rey irks some fans is often centered on the idea of a young Jedi in training being too good at space magic too quickly. Some critics of Rey have referred to her as a Mary Sue, as they put in quotes, citing her intuitive relationship with the Force as being contrived. Now, this would be a valid point if previous young protagonists from the prior trilogies didn't exhibit similar feats of Force strength. But Rey's Jedi mind-tricked James Bond and beat a Sith Lord with zero training, you might say. And you'd be right. There is no denying what has been committed to film, but pretending as if the idea of the Chosen One hasn't been Star Wars bread and butter since the start is simply ridiculous. Rey's journey is no more contrived than that of the Skywalker lads. Here is their argument as to why Baby Yoda is as much of a Mary Sue as Rey is. The same can be said for how The Mandalorian portrays Baby Yoda's use of the Force. If we're going to scrutinize a character for being untrained or too young to be more powerful than characters who came before them, then Baby Yoda should be the gold standard for this perceived narrative transgression. In the second episode of The Mandalorian, The Child, we see the green toddler use the Force to stop a 2-ton mudhorn from pulverizing our hero. Sure, Baby Yoda is 50 years old, but as IG-11 pointed out, species age differently. So unless Baby Yoda has been training in secret Jedi preschool for the last half-century, we'd totally be on board with this, by the way, his sudden display of power is even more contrived than Rey tricking a stormtrooper or taking down Kylo Ren. First of all, Rey didn't even believe in the Force. The first time you see her, she has no clue if it's even real or not. And then suddenly she knows how to control minds and use a lightsaber like she has been training with it for years. Never mind being trained in the Force, she instantly was trained with a weapon. She should have never been able to defeat someone like Kylo Ren because he had years of sophisticated training. Rey also never suffered any side effects from straining herself with the Force or with a weapon, and you would imagine if you are using the Force for the first time and you are completely untrained in it, it would most likely wear you down. Baby Yoda, on the other hand, used the Force to lift up a large creature for maybe 30 seconds. It wasn't using a weapon that required some amount of skill, and after that, it didn't continue to use the Force. It passed out and was unconscious for what seemed like at least 10 hours to maybe even a day. It also is a race that we really have no background of. Lannick are a race that we have only seen 7 times if we are counting the expanded universe, and they are obviously very strong in the Force, as we can see with the few times we've actually encountered their species. Yes, obviously he is younger since at 50, it is still in a sense a toddler, but Rey is only supposed to be 19, so she is really young in her years as well. It is not like she is older and she has been around Force users. She's never encountered Force users. Hell, she didn't even believe in the Force when you first met her. It is just not fair to compare a super rare, mysterious, highly Force-sensitive race to Rey. Rey is a Mary Sue, and even J.J. Abrams have said the same things that a Mary Sue is. She's an amazing pilot despite having no flying skills. She can pick up any weapon and be adept with them. She can use the Force skillfully when it usually takes years of training. She's a great swimmer despite never seeing a large body of water in her life. She always wins and she never loses. Baby Yoda used the Force for 30 seconds and it took at least 10 hours worth of downtime from it. It is not a fair comparison, and Baby Yoda obviously isn't a Mary Sue character. People should stop trying to smear this character because they are angry that people don't like Rey. But that is all that I had to discuss today. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What are your arguments? Do you think that Baby Yoda is a Mary Sue? Do you think that Rey is not a Mary Sue and just a magically an amazing Force user? If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, and of course if you did not, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.